All right, looks like we're live.
Yeah, we live.
What's up,
fools.
guys? This is the first episode of TNT, TNT podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to be going back and forth about the week's news, and so yeah, this is the first episode of that. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm Big T, as you guys know. Let me go ahead and introduce Mizzah Tee.
Hey there, fools. Mizzah Tee here.
Yeah, so there he is, and we're going to go into these topics. This is going to be
Exciting.
like the trial run, so it might not be as smooth as the future episodes, but hang in there. We're going to get to where we need to get to. All right, so
Gonna get better.
first item up for business is BLiZZARD's ongoing media fiasco. Recently they suspended some players for speaking out about the Hong Kong protests going on, which is very important, obviously. So before I go, I'm gonna let Mizzah Tee get in and tell us what he thinks about it.
Thank you, Big T. Yeah, I mean, it's just trash. The whole situation is trash, and the cover up is always the worst part. It's just bad, you know. They try to cover it up. That's when you know you're in trouble. So, yeah, you know, you got these players who are basically on the payroll and whatnot. You know, they're doing events and whatnot, and they spoke out, you know, against what China's doing in Hong Kong. So they don't like it. So they spoke out. They're citizens themselves. So they wanted to show solidarity.
We fight for freedom, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Always on the side of freedom and democracy.
No doubt about that. And so we just wanted to, you know, talk about this because it's a sticky situation. You can't. There's no, there's right and wrong, but there's no, easy answer to this whole situation. So, we just wanted to kind of, talk about that. And I don't like what's going on, but I also don't like the cancel culture. When somebody says something, especially on Twitter, they want to cancel you out and just be done with you, you know. So I don't really like that kind of stuff either. So but that's the kind of the nature of the where we at now, you know, folks. And people just ready to cancel you, want to get rid of you for saying certain things in a moment and stuff. And I'm kind of going off on a tangent here a little bit, but it's we got comedians and whatnot feeling bad about their previous stand-ups and whatnot, and what they said and what was acceptable back then. It's all part of that kind of in a way.
Yeah, I mean, because we're not Chinese citizens.
No.
We're not Hong Kong citizens. This is something you can come out and say, yeah, I'm for this. I'm with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that solidarity is not going to change China and their policies and what they have in store. So
Nope.
It's gonna take a movement from within.
Yeah, from within.
Basketball players even speaking out, saying this isn't. That's not going to move them. That's not going to move the Chinese government. Especially outsiders. It's not gonna happen that way.
They don't give a damn what we say.
Has outside pressure helped in some instances? Yeah, but it's mostly it has to be on the government level, and until our government gets in and says, we're not with what you're doing, we're gonna sanction you,
right,
because of how you're treating these citizens. It doesn't matter. So it's funny because it seems like the government tries to have it both ways. As we all know, we're embroiled in an unnecessary trade war with China. That's going on. But the people who started this trade war have all this tough talk to say about, people who don't speak up, especially NBA players or NBA people from in the NBA association.
Get on that now.
They have all this tough talk for those people who don't speak out against it. But I haven't heard, our government really say much on it, because they got something they're looking for too. They want better deals with these trade and whatnot. So, it's kind of hypocritical.
Super hypocritical.
But what I'm saying is, I'm for it. I'm for democracy anywhere.
Of course.
But at the same time, I can see. Now, I don't feel it's cool to punish people who speak out. You may take them behind closed doors and say, "Hey, man, you can't say blah blah blah," but to try to punish them in any way is ridiculous. But cool. At the end of the day, it's a financial stake. We have financial stake. It's easy to sit at home when you don't have any. You don't have any stake in the situation. It's easy to sit home and say, "Oh, how could they not stand with these people?" Blah blah blah.
For real.
So you can stand with them and nothing changes, and you lose, your business deals, or you can just be quiet, which is an option. I don't know. It's a touchy situation. It's like I said, it's easy to say, "Oh, I'm for this, I'm for that," and not have to actually be out there, getting shot at by the government or having to, be in those situations. So it's touchy. What can I say? But I'm not down with what BLiZZARD is doing. Banning people. I mean,
hell to the no.
Nah. I mean, and then trying to say it's not that. It's directly because you're dealing with China. Let's be real. Let's be real for right. But if you're gonna ban people, tell them the truth why you're banning them and start trying to make up this BS.
Pull your balls.
Everybody knows. At this point. And like I said, it's touchy for me to say. Like, I have no stake in China, but I'm trying to play somewhat devil's advocate because I kind of understand the situation that people that are in business. And it's like this. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I wanted to say, it's just like, I'm a little plastic myself. I'm made in China, but it's just, you're right on. You're spot on with what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So.
Right.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like, don't be halfway in.
Right.
If if you want to talk and strut a certain way, you have to do it yourself as well. So those people who say, "I'm with them," boycott this and this and that. Well, now you got to start boycotting the products that are in your home right now. You like those nice Walmart prices. You have to not go to Walmart. You got to stop buying all this stuff online. You got to stop messing with stuff that comes from China, which includes a lot of your game consoles. A lot of the components in those consoles come from there. So you got to put your money where your mouth is. Don't judge this play. Don't judge these NBA owners or players for acting a certain way. Meanwhile, you got all kind of Chinese products all up in your home and whatnot. So I don't think that's fair.
No.
If you're one of the people that is willing to, I'm gonna cut out everything Chinese and blah blah blah, then speak out. Have at it, but don't throw stones from a glass house, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's not cool. But what BLiZZARD is doing has nothing to do with that. I mean, that's bogus. You can talk to the guys, even quote unquote, reprimand them, which I don't think that's cool. But you can have a conversation with the people and be like, "Hey, this is our situation. China funds us, this and this and that. Don't speak on these situations." Because this is business. We are paying you. We are sponsoring you for certain things. You have to. I mean, it's just like any job. You have to cater to what that company is about, or you're gone. And it's not just about fighting for freedom for other countries, but it's also about just day-to-day politics that have to do with a job.
Right on.
Yeah, it's a crazy subject, touchy subject, like I said, but it is what it is. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on. T. Go ahead and tell them what the next topic is.
Well, the next topic is basically power. Power for the Nintendo Switch. We back to the rumors about how powerful the Switch could be and how it's going to be, powering spaceships.
Yeah. It's a lot of. It seems like this happens in cycles. There's a lot of madness.
We're back on that cycle,
if you will, that surrounds the Switch. There's just a lot of people out there that are not content with the power output of the Switch. They don't really want to come out and say that.
They want to just say it.
So they do this thing where it's like, "Oh, this is coming and this is going to make it more powerful, blah blah blah." I mean, me personally, I just don't care about that kind of stuff, power wise and all that kind of stuff that goes into consoles. As long as the game looks good to me, runs well, I'm happy. I don't need the top of the edge of the edge type of stuff that a lot of people seem to need. But I mean, that's kind of stuff is what it is. But here we are in another cycle of rumors about the Switch Pro and all this stuff. And I'll just start off by saying I don't care about a Switch Pro. I just really don't care. I'll be more excited about the next iteration of Switch when that next hardware comes around.
Damn right.
But we are talking about this stuff
back again.
And I must be missing something, but I don't see any hard evidence. But I see videos talking about there being hard evidence, and this proves that, or that proves that. And I mean, I get it. It's fun to speculate, figure these things out. As far as the hardware itself, I'm happy with what it does. Would I like it to look a little better for? Maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really bother me. If I want the best visuals, I'll just buy it on my PC. You know. No matter what they do to the Switch, it's not going to look that good. It's not going to look as good as the PC version would anyway. So it's just
no need to,
you know. And I'm happy with the visuals of Nintendo games. They always look really good and clean, and beautiful. They're good enough. I mean, they run well. They're pretty, and I'm happy with that. So, you know, it's just. We're back to that discussion again, and I mean it comes around every once in a while. And
comes around, goes.
I don't know. I just feel like it's a redundant conversation to have so when it comes to Nintendo, especially because it's just like Nintendo doesn't really care to push hardware anymore. They did, and nobody cared when they did. Obviously, N64 was a little different because they had the cartridge expense. But GameCube was super powerful. Well, not super powerful, but it was really powerful. It was
we got
right there next to Xbox OG as far as power goes. Xbox OG is a little bit more powerful. But
a little bit.
You know, that didn't stop it from losing to PlayStation 2.
No,
you know?
Hell no.
It should have got all the games the PS2 got.
But it sure didn't, did it?
But it didn't. Why was that?
Good question, folks.
I don't know. Maybe it was just continued anger from third parties about whatever, you know, about NES era, about, you know, cartridges in the N64 era and some gouging. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, all of the above. Some people say it was the disc size of the GameCube, which doesn't make sense to me because we've had multiple disc consoles going back, and we're starting to get multiple discs on this generation even. Which is crazy. You know, we're talking about 50 gig CDs or DVDs or 50 gig Blu-rays. That need an extra Blu-ray because it's these things are over 100 gigs. These games, some of them. So, and there's no people, you know, complaining about having to buy or having to use multiple discs for that. Or on the PS1, I played plenty of games with 3 and 4 discs. Dreamcast the same. The mini disc was not the problem with the GameCube.
Not at all.
There's no problem to put an extra disc in. The case, if you needed to. You know, most games didn't use 4 gigs in that era. So, what was it? I think the GameCube was like 1.5 gigs, which was plenty. Gigs. And if you really wanted to get your game on that, you know, file size, you could do it. Same thing they're doing with the Switch right now. They're putting, you know, these way bigger games onto Switch carts. So, you know, it is what it is. But, what do you think, Mizzah Tee? What do you think?
Well, like, I mean,
are you over this talk, this tech talk? Or are you looking forward to something and more powerful Switch-wise?
Well, I mean, you pretty much touched on it. I don't care about all the powers and the titty flops and giggity flops and all that good stuff. I just want the game look good, play good, and you know, for the most part, that happens on the Switch. I haven't had the problem where it was like, oh man, I can't play this, because it's on the Switch, and it's sometimes I talk about the Vaseline screen, on the handheld and whatnot, the Vaseline screen. So some of those games need to be cleaned up, but that's just a development issue. Some of these developers just ain't getting what they can get out the Switch, and we've seen other companies do so. We've seen that, right? From company like Panic Button, Panic Button. That's me. So yeah, we've seen all that kind of stuff. Making me laugh. But yeah. So
leave it to Mizzah Tee to get you to giggle a little bit. Oh man,
these fools laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I don't really care at this point, and it is what it is. So let's move on to our final topic for the news of the week, and that is not a big thing. It's the censoring, or the of the obviously Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE is coming out to Switch.
That
The
beautiful
Wii
game.
U title. In the West, it got censored, and a lot of people were hoping that this version was going to be the Eastern version that wasn't censored, and I think there was some confusion about that. And turns out it's not. This release worldwide apparently is going to be the Western version ported. So there's a lot of hoopla about that, and I don't care. Like, here's the thing with me. I understand the whole slippery slope argument when it comes to censorship. It was like, well, this is gonna lead to this. They're taking this out of that. But I try to be, again, my favorite word, nuanced about these situations, on what's being censored and what not being censored. Like, I didn't like what Microsoft did with Conker's Bad Fur Day, or Conker's Live and Reloaded for the Xbox. When they put that version out for there, I'm like, well, if Nintendo can have this cussy crazy version, why can't you guys? But
right,
they censored it, and I was like, nope, not feeling that.
It's trash.
Their censoring thing, when you in a game, when you're censoring like sexuality, as far as like clothing, or the age of girls, to not have any controversy there, which is way understandable, at least from my perspective. Uniform, like, that's, that's, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
When you change those situations, I don't want nothing to do with that, and I would hope most people, if not all people, want nothing to do with that. So for me, it's just like, what is the situation? And is this, what you're doing, actually affecting the game? Like, if you're censoring a game to where you're taking away from the game itself, then I have a huge problem with that. Let's say you're making a cinematic game. Let's say a game like Detroit Become Human, right? And there's cursing and sexual references and stuff like that, and in the dialogue and even in the visuals sometimes. And if you have that kind of a situation where you're hiding that, you're cutting that kind of stuff, to me I have a problem with that, because you're taking away from what the game was intended to be, what the subject matter is about, and you're deciding for me if I'm able to handle that or not. So I have a problem with that. But when you're talking about covering girls up, and that's something that's not affecting the game, the actual game, or making girls older. So what that, I don't even like saying that word, but what that entails. To me, I don't have a problem with that. Again, I understand slippery slope. Well, if you let them do this, then they'll do that. Well, you know what? When they do that, then I'll talk. And be, oh, that's too late then. No, it doesn't matter. Because that's the thing I care more about, not something like making a girl older than she is in another version, so you don't feel like a creep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
totally creepy.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But when you're cutting, certain types of words and all that, the kind of censorship I don't like, because I'm an adult and I should be able to view adult content. And you could say, well, adult content is what that girl's wearing. That's adult. I should be able to what, but again, I don't I can't confidently fight for something like that. Cartoon girls being covered up, like, cause I just don't really care. But we're talking about cartoon characters. We're talking about, I don't care about that. And it doesn't move me when it comes to, I certainly don't have a problem with you making people older in the game, because
please do.
They dressed a certain way and you want to make them older to not be a creep. I don't have a problem with that. So there's going to be, plenty of arguments about this. I don't understand them. They don't understand me, but I'm just telling you how I feel about the situation. That's all I can do. So what about you, Mizzah Tee? What do you think?
I don't really care.
All right. So short and sweet. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have. There wasn't a whole lot of gaming news. I mean, I can really get into more stuff that would probably bore most people to tears. At least my audience anyway. So I'll try to get more stuff to talk about. We'll try to liven it up a little bit more. I want to be more lively when we do these things. More lively, but also relaxed and laid back and have it a fun situation. I would love to do these live, but for obvious reasons, I can't do them live. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the premiere style, so that way you guys can still,
because of me.
What do you call it? You can still leave chat. You can join the chat. We can talk about certain things. I will be there live in the chat to talk with you guys during the premiere, even though it's not technically a live stream TNT podcast. But again, do I have to tell you why I can't do it live? For obvious reasons, we can't do it live. So, but anyway, that's it for this episode of TNT. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you like it. Let me know. You want more of these? So we can look forward to doing these more. Like I said, I want to do these. My schedule, I want to do these every Sunday night, 7 to 8, somewhere around there. So you guys will have something to check out Sunday afternoons or Sunday nights. And I want to do these scheduled programs. I'm trying to make it work out. So let me know what you think in the comments below. That's it for me. What you get to say, Mizzah Tee?
Peace out, Fugus. Thanks for joining us. It was great. Had a lot of fun. That's it. Let's get out of here, Fugus.
All right. Peace.